we have been trying to get you on with us for a long time, and we understand that you're nervous or scared about it. I don't know why, because... For a man who's on television most every night, it's amazing how little anyone knows about David Letterman. 10 years ago this week, he premiered a bold new show called Late Night, which featured consistently original and offbeat humor. Like him or not, David Letterman has forever changed television comedy.
That's the truth. Who are those women out there, by the way?
Neighbors.
I'll get rid of them. Hey. Excuse me. Keep it moving. Come on, get up. Hit the road, will you?
General Electric took over NBC and all of its broadcasting properties, and they started making cutbacks left and right, but fortunately, I must say, we've been very lucky here. It hasn't actually affected us too badly. Excellent. Hang on a second. This will just take a second. No, we've been very lucky, and they're actually not bad to work with. Of course, there have been kind of day-to-day little things that... There. Is that better, Hal?
A native of Indiana, Letterman's first show was a college radio program at Ball State University in Muncie. He parlayed that success into a job as a local TV personality in Indianapolis.
Once you take a look at the cloud cover photograph made earlier of the United States today.
Then moved to L.A., where he made a name for himself, first as a comedy writer, then as a stand-up comic.
Thank you, son. We've learned a valuable lesson there. Not everyone can do comedy. I appreciate it.
He first stepped into the mainstream with the short-lived variety show Mary, starring Mary Tyler Moore.
There she is, Mary Tyler Moore, eating her cornflakes.
Oh.
Will you welcome, please, David Letterman. David?
But as with so many young comics, the big break was on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson.
Kind of thing I'll always remember as long as I live, growing up in Indiana, is when Dad used to tease me with the power tools. How many of you... Did you ever? What a guy. What a guy.
Sense of humor.
Yeah.
In David Letterman, Johnny Carson found a kindred spirit who consistently made him laugh. After an NBC morning show on which Letterman flopped, Carson's production company found him a spot on Late Night and a place in television history.
Air Major, the Flying Dog.
His personal life is, to say the least, low profile. If it weren't for that unfortunate woman who's continually breaking into his Connecticut home, we'd never read anything about him. We do know he married young, divorced, and had for a while a serious romance with Merrill Markoe, the original head writer on his show. I was nervous myself about interviewing Letterman. I'd heard he was shy and very guarded, but he was nice, relaxed, and answered everything. A 10th anniversary special, 10 years. Did you ever think that you would be doing this for 10 years?
Nope. Nope.
How do you stay fresh? How do you do it night after night?
Well, in terms of staying fresh, we gave that up, I guess, in the second year.
Same old stories,
yeah, it's the same
stupid
night
dog
after night,
tricks.
it's the same nonsense, yeah. We get a really good idea, and then we'll do it every night for a couple of months, and then we'll continue to do it, and then just beat it to death, and then after we've beaten it to death, we'll do it for another year.
So we don't have to watch anymore, right?
No.
We've seen it all.
Yeah, pretty much, absolutely.
David, there are some viewers and guests who say you are smug, condescending, mean.
Yeah.
Does that bother you?
No. If somebody says, I'm going through a bad divorce, please don't ask me about my divorce. Somebody in my family is sick, please don't ask me about my family. If you then get on the air and ask that person one of those questions, I think that's mean.
Yeah.
But if you make a joke about a person's tie or about a person's socks or whatever, and perhaps they don't take it as good-naturedly as you had hoped, I'm not sure that that's meanness, but I think maybe that's what people were perceiving.
Do you remember your first appearance on The Tonight Show?
Yep, and it was at the time and probably will, regardless of what happens, be one of the, if not the most satisfying moment for me in big-time television.
Because you did well with Johnny?
Yeah, yeah. Yep, it was, I don't know, it took me weeks to unwind.
Huh.
It was very exciting, and not much since has come even close to that.
There was the morning show that you did at NBC.
That's right.
Okay. You can still laugh.
Yeah, at the time it was awfully painful, the experience. And in show business, and I guess just like any other business, you think, well, now I've got to go to the end of the line, and who knows whether or not my number will be called again.
What did you do that year?
I fought with my girlfriend.
Well, that took a
And
few
the
hours.
time just flew by.
You know, you mentioned your girlfriend, but one of the things that isn't that well known about you is that you were married when you were in college for 7 years
Right.
and broke up.
No, it was 9 years.
9 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I got married in college, and madly in love with this beautiful woman. And then I went a little nuts and misbehaved, and it came apart. But I think that it's my own doing, or my own undoing.
Want to get married again?
Yes.
Someone in your life right now?
Yes.
Someone you want to marry?
Yeah.
Someone you want to tell us about?
Well, like, what do you want to know?
Well,
height, weight, that kind of thing?
Name, who she is, and are you really going to get married?
It's hard for me to imagine myself not being married again, because, you know, I would like to have a family. The fact that I was married early and for a long time, and that it came apart, is sort of like a warning to me that has stayed with me, and I'm not eager to get married again and have another one come apart. So I'm taking my time.
Have you asked her?
Asked her to what?
Marry you.
I've asked her to drop the topic.
You've asked me to drop the topic.
No,
You've
not
asked her to drop the topic.
No, I spent a great deal of my time saying, let's talk about that later. What's for dinner?
She was somebody who used to work with you.
Yeah.
Is that, you don't want to say more?
No, what, I mean, you know, I got enough people moving in at my house as it is, so let's...
Well, what about that woman who kept breaking into your
There's
house?
nothing funny about it.
No, there's nothing funny
There's
about
nothing
that.
funny about it, and it was at a time when I didn't really live in that house. I lived, all my free time I was living in California.
This was a house in Connecticut.
Yeah, still is a house in Connecticut. And spending all of my free time in California, and got a call one night from my assistant. She had been notified by the police that somebody had been picked up at the at a tunnel or a bridge crossing at the Hudson in my car with a young child claiming to be my wife. And I mean, it sounds amusing, but the sadness of it is you get to see firsthand what a disturbed person is like, and it's very sad. It must be despair, the likes of which you can't conjure.
David, Merrill Marker, who was the head writer on your show when you began, and the only female writer on your program, and someone you gave great credit to. That lasted a long while. Right.
She was terrific, and she, I think, is one of the big reasons for the success of the show early on. And I think that she and I, as a couple, you know, paid the price for working together and so forth. And I always felt badly about that because, again, I think that it was, I look back and I think, oh, maybe I screwed this up too, but I don't know.
Screwed this up too?
Well, I just think I probably wore her out, you know.
She was the one who was with you during that year when you weren't working.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just wonder if I'll ever be able to repay her, because she was very important to me.
You have always said that you're a great fan of Johnny Carson's. You liked him very much personally.
Yep.
Okay, here it comes. Why do you think you weren't chosen to replace Johnny?
Why? I'm not sure. I was never angry. I was never bitter. Disappointed, of course, because I mean that's a great job. Who wouldn't want to have that job? But I was never hurt. I was never angry. I was never mad at Jay. I was in the last couple of years, last year and a half, there have been things about my relationship with NBC that I was angry about.
Were you upset that you were not considered for the Tonight Show?
I think I was considered. I think that I was
considered and rejected.
Yeah,
obviously.
Yeah.
How did you find out about it?
I knew about it a long time before the announcement. No, angry is not the word. I guess maybe because it was yet another circumstance in my relationship with the network that I was discouraged by, because I felt like after you have 4 or 5 things that are tough, that you have to fight through, that you have to keep screaming, what about this? You said you were going to do this and you didn't do this. Or what about this? You didn't tell us you were going to do this and then you did it. You go through 4 or 5 of those things and then you realize, well, you know, maybe there's something wrong here.
Is it the straw that broke the camel's back? Do you want to stay with NBC?
I think I would like to stay with NBC if I would like to stay with NBC. I like the idea of staying. I like the security of being at one place for a long time.
Let me get some things clear. You are not now currently negotiating with NBC for a future contract?
No.
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 You are not now currently negotiating with any other network for a future contract?
No.
No. You said, if you get 10 years in the show, I think you're dumb if you don't examine this as a crossroad. Is this a crossroad?
Yeah. Maybe a milestone. What is it, a difference between a crossroad and a milestone?
Yeah, a milestone, you say, this is terrific, and you go on.
Uh-huh.
A crossroad, you say, I can go this way or this way.
What's the difference between a cold spell and a cold snap?
What's the difference between answering this question and dodging?
I don't know. I forget the question.
The question was, it's been 10 years. Another 10 years?
Well, I don't know another 10 years on this show. I just don't know whether I'm the person to continue doing this show much longer, because, you know, it's a lot of college kids and prisoners and stuff.
Who else, if not you?
Well, maybe somebody who's 34 as opposed to 44.
What would you like me to say about you when people say, what was he really like?
A powerful man. You could feel his presence a block away. You know what? I think this is funny. One time we had Goldie Hawn on the show, and I was always interested in her name. And I said to her, like the second or third question, I said, have you always been Goldie? And she pauses for a second. She says, well, you know, I've always just been me. And if being me is being Goldie, then And I said, no. I mean, was that the name your parents gave you when you were born? I said, I'm not exactly Barbara Walters here. We all enjoyed a big laugh.